This episode was recorded last fall and will be airing more new episodes that we recorded before hiatus every Thursday through Halloween. Also, check out Dan's stand-up special, Dance Fatty Dance, on YouTube and subscribe to his new pod, Burbs Bros, with Sean Donnelly. Enjoy the show.
It's not real. It's okay. It's okay.
Hey everybody, welcome to the It Couple. I'm Dan.
And I am Sarah.
This is like our 14th episode, and we're still introducing like you guys are 4-year-olds.
But also we're working on our volume because we've been listening to these, and sometimes my voice gets really loud and screechy, so I'm trying to work on that.
Sometimes, guys. Sometimes your voice gets loud. Opposing to the demure little house on the prairie fucking voice I deal with on a daily basis.
I'm a wallflower. What are you talking about? Okay, so welcome. Today we are going to be discussing, just Dan and I, no guests.
No guests.
We are going to be discussing the
no
Boogeyman.
Friends.
Stop cutting me off, you son of a bitch.
I didn't. No, I'm trying.
I
am working.
Dan has like ADD in the sense that he has to get words out. It's almost like Tourette's in a way, where you just say things out loud while someone else is speaking, and then you just take it from there and keep going.
I'd like to apologize to the whole Tourette's community.
I do too, because I'm sorry he's part of it.
All right, so we're doing the Boogeyman.
Woo,
we saw this together. We had a date night and
at home. Oh wait, we were in the movies.
Well, yeah.
Wait.
The movie.
Completely forgot
that's
about
another guy.
The one date night Dan and I have gone on in like 3 years. We went to the movie theater.
We went to Queens.
In Astoria. We went to
Astoria Kaufman.
Yep, Kaufman Astoria, and we went and played games because we got there early. It was so fun. And what else did we do? We ate a ton. I think you had like a hot dog.
We
had
why
some
do we need
pretzels.
to bring that up?
Well, we're working on our diets.
My
Dan and I
diet
are...
sounds like a coroner's report. So we played Jurassic Park, which is a really fun arcade game.
It's so fun. It was great.
But
anyway.
I think that was more fun than the movie. The movie wasn't bad. It was a good movie. It was fine.
It was fine.
This movie was just like, it's like having a good wrap at an airport, and somebody asks you, how's it? You're like, yeah, it's good.
Like
it's
a
fine.
Chicken Caesar wrap.
Yeah, it was like a little bit better than you think,
I wasn't expecting anything. I thought the little girl, the youngest daughter, was really good. So I was just happy whenever she was on screen because, sometimes kid actors, it's hit or miss. Sometimes they're great, and sometimes you can tell they don't want to be there. So I'm an advocate for child actors getting out of the business.
Are you? Well, you just complimented her.
Well, she's great. She can stay because she gets it. So she's great. And then Chris Messina, who went to my high school. Very exciting. Humble brag. So that's
Sophie Thatcher is the lead. You may know her from Yellow Jacket. She's the cool punk young Juliette Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
She's very good. I think she'll be working for a long time. And Marin Ireland is Rita Billings, and
isn't it Marin?
Marin, sorry.
Marin
I have a
Ireland.
Marin story. And David
Dastmalchian
is Lester Billings. I can't ever say that name, but you know him from like Dark Knight.
He was also in a show that Dan wrote on in iCast called Moral Compass.
Yeah, he plays a serial killer.
And he's hilarious. And he was the nicest guy, and he was so cool. And during COVID, little shout out to him because he really made it work. Because it was scary times getting back on set, and he has a family, and he was such a good sport about it. So, I mean, the entire cast was, but he was like first up, so it was a little scary.
I auditioned with Marin Ireland once. We were
Marin.
back in Marin, whatever.
No wonder she hates you.
Marin. Well, I tried to say hi.
Is it Marin?
Marin, because we have
Marin,
we have a couple mutual friends, and I tried to say hi, and she goes no, and she ran away. I didn't even do anything. This was like during the day.
Hold on, I've got to look up how to pronounce her name because as a casting director, it's
I really
that
appreciate you
Hold
jumping
on,
in on this story. What a lovely rapport we have back and forth.
Let's hear it. Hold on. Marin.
Okay, cool. So either way, she ran away from me shrieking. And then it was awkward because I ran into her with that mutual friend, she was like totally nice.
Well,
So
I want to
guess,
know what you were wearing when you ran into her. And
just
what
a
were you-
sock on my dick. That's it.
And what were you eating?
Blood. I had blood pouring out of my mouth in a sock. So I understand why she
Stigmata.
didn't.
You just had it pouring out of everything.
Marin.
Lisa Gay Hamilton plays Dr. Weller. And Madison Hugh is Bethany. And Vivien Lyra Blair is Sawyer, who's the young daughter, who I think is a fantastic actress. Okay, so let's start on this movie. Take
Thanks.
it away, Saint Germain.
Thank you. I feel like we're doing like a opening corporate promo for
This actually
working
feels
at
like,
him.
what's the SNL sketch where they do sweaty balls?
Yeah, let's bring up one of the funniest sketches of all time.
It's an
beforehand.
NPR
You know,
The
Christmas.
NPR, that's what I feel like.
That
I feel like
reminds-
we're not.
I hate bringing up like funnier things in the beginning. You know, I'm not saying this is going to be funny.
My
but I'm-
God.
I'm just saying. Like one guy introduced me when I was doing stand up because literally he goes, his comic, Sean Lynch, is drunk. He introduced me and he goes, George Carlin, Richard Pryor, Dan St. Germain. And I was like,
God.
well, you're just setting me up to bomb.
Who would you prefer it would be in the
Horribly.
order?
Oh, who would I prefer?
Yeah, like the poor man's. What did you get called?
I don't know. I'm
online?
trying to think like who, like somebody who I would feel better, like Carrot Top, Matt Rife, Dan St. Germain. But-
Except Matt Rife and Carrot Top are jacked.
All right, I'm working on it. Okay,
Dom DeLuise.
I've seen some
John Candy.
the clumps. Dan St. Germain. Thank you. By the way, you fuck this. Okay, just to let you know.
I'm just teasing. I think you look great. And you know
Thanks.
what?
Good save.
We've learned
Good
from
save after comparing me to all these actors who either died of heart attacks or were wearing 300-pound prosthetics. Really appreciate it.
the clumps. Okay, so this movie begins with a flashback scene, and it's a baby in a crib. And so, you know, something is in there with that baby because the baby's crying. So there's some sort of a spirit or someone, and you hear a voice, and it's a dad's voice, isn't it? It's a father's voice in the beginning. He comes in, he's talking to the baby and calming her down.
And then he leaves, and then you hear the boogeyman kill the baby, and you just see the blood splatter.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, you don't want to see it because you still want to, like, preserve that.
Yes, you
'Cause
just
I-
see it splatter, so you know the baby's dead.
I thought, there was a point in this movie where I thought, oh, is the boogeyman, like, not real, and it's going to be, like, just like, it's like the Babadook, where it's, like, the Babadook, but for fathers that kill their families. And I thought Chris Messina, because he always plays a bad guy, like, he's a bad guy in the center.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that that's where it was going. But no, it's just a straight up boogeyman.
Yep, he's a good dad.
Yeah, he's a good dad.
It was kind of like when we were watching The Purge and we kept waiting for Ethan Hawke
To turn.
to turn, and he never did. So yeah, I like that. I like being, you know, kept in suspense of what the dad is going to do because the mom's already dead. Did he kill the mom? Did he have a hand in that? We don't know, right?
No, we don't know.
But
Well, I just said we did know that he doesn't.
well, now we know. But when you're watching the movie,
Yeah.
spoiler alert, we're just going to give it all away. So the Harper family, we have their sisters, Sadie and Sawyer, and Will, their dad, Chris Messina.
Who's also a therapist. Everybody's a therapist in this movie.
He's a therapist, and his office is in the house, which, by the way, scary. I just don't know how I would feel. I did go to one therapist who lived in the West Village, beautiful townhouse. And I was just always tempted. You could only go in through the one door, but sometimes the other door would be open that went up the stairs to her actual residence. And I was always so tempted to just run up there when she was in the bathroom and look around because I think they had a lot of money. Like, this was also a woman who in 2003 told me I should go read a book in a library and that's how I'll meet a nice guy. I'm like, oh, is that? They're all
Or
homeless,
a homeless
men.
guy masturbating at a public computer.
And that's how I
actually
met Dan, guys. So.
Beat me to it. All right.
Okay.
So yeah, they're struggling because Sadie and Sawyer, their mom died in a car crash. You know, Sawyer's dealing with nightmares. Will is burying himself in work. Sadie's adjusting back at school. Sadie comes. They have like kind of this B story where Sadie is friends with this girl who's like kind of picking more popular friends, which has happened to me before.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. But she shows up. She doesn't help herself because her mom's mourning, she starts wearing her mom's clothes. And her mom looks like fucking Shelley Long in Children's Time Theater. Like she's wearing like
Shelley Duvall.
Shelley. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, Shelley Duvall. That's Shelley Long's Cheers. But she's wearing this like Raggedy Ann ass outfit, and all the girls are like, "You look fucking stupid." And the only problem is you're supposed to feel bad for her, but she pretty
does
fucking
look
stupid.
She does
you know?
look stupid. And there's something else that happens where she, the girls. So her original friend left her for this more popular crowd, but tries to bring her in. And she's just kind of strange around these other girls. She's going through some stuff. People don't really know how to talk to her. They're kind of looking at her. Also, when I was in high school and someone's parent died, they weren't like sent out to sea and ignored for the rest of the school year. Like this girl.
I think your dad would have preferred that. But...
No, my dad died when I was at high school. Thanks for bringing that up, Dan. Oh, wait, your mom just died. I don't know why I act like Superior.
You're the only one who wants to...
Superior's mom literally just passed. Okay, so we have the bitchy girls. We get the note. Okay, they're mean to her. Were you going to ask me a question? I'm looking.
Oh my God, you're so organic. I have questions. I have like notes in here for us that are supposed to like come across as just happening, and she literally just read it off. Did you ever get in a fist fight in school, Sarah? Were you a bully?
No, I just think it's funny because before we jump, I wanted you not to interrupt me, but to get that out.
I haven't been interrupting you in this
good.
episode.
You've been good. Okay, no. I was in theater, so take for that.
Did you get picked on?
No, I got picked on by my sisters. I had people that were rude and bitches, and I was probably bitchy back. I wasn't the nicest in high school. I think I had a lot of...
You were the bully.
Well, I was like the Liz Lemon bully. Remember when Liz Lemon goes back for her reunion? And everyone's like, she's like, oh, they were all so awful to me. And they're like, you were so mean to us. And they're all scared. And you find out she was the bully, but she was like a nerdy bully. I was a nerdy dorky, probably just a loudmouth. Kind of how I am now. But I have 3 dogs and a husband. So were you ever in a fist fight?
Let's just forget. I've gotten punched in the face a lot, yes. I feel like I'm getting punched in the face right now.
In high school, you were in a fight?
What? Was I a fight in high school? No, not in high school, but I've gotten, a little bit like as friends, and then I got real. But I've gotten punched in the face quite a bit.
Yeah. Okay.
In my life.
Great.
Which, if you met me, you could probably tell that.
No, I couldn't. I always say, like, Dan and I would have been friends in high school, though. We would have done plays together. Would have done musicals.
And I would have been the one straight guy. I could have maybe made it work.
Yeah, you definitely would have been making out with everybody at the rap party. At the cast party.
All right. Well, I feel uncomfortable with this conversation because they're high school kids we're talking about.
Gross.
All right. So one day, this is like when things start cooking in the movie. Will is visited by Lester Billings, the guy from The Dark Knight. He has to speak to him. He explains that his kids have died, and all but one were killed by an entity that he thinks has latched onto him. And Lester is clearly distraught. So Will feels bad for him, but Lester is clearly, on one. Mm-hmm. While Will goes, I guess, into the other room, Lester then sneaks out of the office, goes into the residence, so pulls a Sarah. Mm-hmm. We think that he is going to attack our lead. Mm-hmm. Our lead is Sadie, correct?
Sadie, yep.
But what happens is you hear him, he goes to the mom's old studio, so we keep thinking, like, could this be the mom's ghost? He goes into the bathroom, you hear a big commotion. She opens the door and he's hanging. And of course, the police and everyone but Sadie thinks, he killed himself. But later on, we determined that maybe, just maybe, it was the Boogeyman, which I can never get that scared by because I just feel like he's about to like, boogie, 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 boogie.
I have a question. No, all right, so this isn't in Dan's notes. This is a generic, organic question. Were you ever scared of anything as a kid? Like nightmares, like trouble falling asleep?
Scared of love, but then I found you.
Okay. Took you a while.
I was scared. One time I thought there was a goblin in my room, but it was just my dad sleepwalking with tidy whities with an erection. And that was tough. You all right?
I'm just picturing not your dad's erection, but just
I
the
hope
image of what part of it did you think was did you think the dick was the nose?
No, I didn't think that his dick looked like a goblin. I heard it. I was in a bunk bed, so I couldn't hear. So I was terrified, so I didn't move.
You had bunk beds as a kid?
I had a bunk bed and then like a desk underneath it. It was a cool little thing.
That's very cool. That's very like upper middle class white kid in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, rich kid. Rich kid furniture.
We were
Guess
doing.
what I had? A box spring and a mattress and a twin bed.
Well, let me tell you, with your personality, it shows. It really does.
We're falling more and more in love with each passing moment of doing this. Okay, so I just want to point something out. Sadie's home because those mean girls. Someone did something where she got
they threw
yogurt or something.
They threw
all
yogurt
over
over fucking shitty ass Raggedy
her
Ann
mom's dress. So she goes home to clean it. She leaves early. So when he comes up, David Dastmalchian, Lester, and goes in the closet, he looks at her and you're like, oh, he's going to attack her. I know you said that, but she's taking laundry out. I just think that's an important thing to note. She doesn't recognize. She doesn't know that he's there. She doesn't realize he's there. Moving forward. Okay. So what happens next, Daniel?
Well, now we're kind of off. We're off to the races. Essentially, the cops come. They're like, this is, just a disturbed guy who killed himself in your house. It's nothing to be alarmed about. The sisters start seeing the younger daughter sees the Boogeyman first. She sees it under her bed.
Doesn't she hear voices too?
She hears voices. Boogeyman himself, not a great monster. He's just kind of, he looks a little bit just like if they took like maybe like a hairy, like they took like the aliens from The Quiet Place and then matched them up with like a monkey or something, or like something furry. It's not a great looking. I mean, and I'm just kind of sick of these horror movies where everything has like an insect body. Ever since,
Signs. I mean, those were aliens.
Signs were just aliens. Those are normal.
But I feel like they looked like.
No, they were like the normal gray alien, big head, like body.
Were they? Why do I think they were like more? Oh, maybe
because that's Quiet Place. Yeah. That's Cloverfield. Kind of has that.
Cloverfield does have that. The Last of Us has it, but they have the.
No, The Last of Us doesn't really have it.
Well, they're still kind of creepy looking, and then they have.
They're creepy looking, sure.
Yeah. Are you saying like Predator? They all look
no, I was thinking like Alien. It's a little bit like that insect body. I'm trying to think what else this would like. Starship Troopers
is what Dan's saying.
Starship Troopers, like that kind of. Or there's actually like some of the monsters in Kong Skull Island. Anyway,
so you think he could have been scarier?
I think he could be scarier.
But like the Boogeyman was something as a kid that I think we all heard about. And no one ever, like, there wasn't really a thing that you could ever see. So whoever wrote this thought, this is what I envisioned it, probably. Like, this is what I thought it looked like when I was a kid.
Well, Stephen King wrote the short story, and then they adapted it, because you have to, everything Stephen King writes. Stephen King could write something on a napkin, and they would adapt it to a 3-part fucking series on Hulu.
I have a question, actually.
Yes,
so,
hey, Spaventa. Can we have, when you come in, like a ding dong, like you're the neighbor?
So the Boogeyman is old folklore. It wasn't something created by Stephen King?
No, it's old folklore. And then he wrote his take on the Boogeyman. Like, I could write a Boogeyman story if I wanted to, which I will.
Will be your dad in tidy whities
it'll
with an
be a
erection?
Boogeyman, but it'll actually boogie.
Okay, I love that. All right. So Sadie's listening to a recording.
Oh, it's from Night Shift. I read Night Shift. It's a series of short stories by Stephen King. I guess that one did not stick out to me because I don't remember it at all.
Or you just know the Boogeyman and you probably skip that part because you're like,
maybe.
I know this story. I know what he does. He haunts children in their sleep.
Yeah.
But this is a different kind of Boogeyman, though. So Sadie is now listening, the older daughter, is now listening to Lester's appointment with the recording. Because remember, the dad was recording everything. He's like, just for purposes, I just need to, record some of this. And she starts hearing what he's saying about his family's past and what happened. And he feels bad on the tape because he says something how he sort of abandoned the family. Like they didn't really pay attention to the kids. So that's sort of left in there. The wife is still alive. So she looks up the Billings family. She finds the address of the home. And she makes her one friend, driver, and it sort of looks abandoned. You think nobody's going to be in there. And then we meet Rita, Lester's estranged wife, who still lives in the house trying to fight the boogeyman at every turn.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The boogeyman is basically, he comes from people's fears. So that's how he feeds. He feeds off fear, which is kind of like that's such a horror trope. Everybody feeds off fear, you know?
I mean, doesn't it fear like the clown?
Yes,
Pennywise.
literally, explicitly, yes.
Yeah.
What about the director of Silver Linings Playbook, David Ayers? Like, I feel like
David O. Russell.
David O. Russell. He directs based off fear. He just scares people.
He just scares the shit out of everyone into getting a good take.
So what happened was essentially we get to a point where they go to therapy together, Sadie and the kid. What's the daughter's name? What's the younger sister's name again?
Sawyer.
Sawyer. Sadie and Sawyer. What
I
fucking
know.
annoying
It's
parents.
Really it just give the other one like a name like
Jen.
yeah, just so we can differentiate
Yeah,
the two
Sadie
S's.
and Sawyer. What losers. I wish the boogeyman won. Anyway, they see him in therapy with this therapist who, like, she has the same mood the whole movie. She's just like, hello, like, no matter what happens. But
She sounds like me when I'm talking to someone on the phone politely.
yeah.
Right? Like if I have my business voice.
Wait a minute. What? I've heard you talk to customer service and it's fucking Joe Pesci chewing people out for not paying him back in Goodfellas. So I don't know what you're talking
so
about.
nice to customer service reps,
You
by the way.
motherfucker. You motherfucker.
Shush.
So
Talking about work, Dan, not customer
and
service.
then so like the younger one sees it, wets herself, and it's just the kid's got a problem wetting himself. When's the most embarrassing time? Actually, you just had an issue.
Don't ever bring that up to me ever again. I will not discuss it.
You don't want to discuss it?
No. I'm not ready.
Can I mention it?
No, I'm not ready.
Okay, that's a cut point.
Thank you, Sventa.
No. Keep it in. We'll talk about it at some point.
Never now. I'm
No,
not
no.
ready. It's
All
still
right.
too soon. It's raw. Like,
That's what the guy cleaning it up said.
okay, fine.
All right.
I'll talk about
Okay.
it.
What happened?
I was coming home from a party with Ari, my producing partner.
Why do
and-
you have to throw her under the bus?
Because it's a witness to the crime
Or an
that took
accomplice.
place. So accomplice for no, she had to distract Mushu, who came with us to a party in Connecticut for a friend's 35th birthday. It was a very fun party, I will say. They had a food truck. I ate an entire Louisiana style chicken, and I ate a giant tub of mac and cheese. And on the ride home, I was also wearing Spanx, so like my circulation was already cut off.
Blame it on the Spanx.
No, but it was pressing on every organ in my body. And not only did I have to pee, but I had to poop as well. And so I wasn't going to make it home. I was 6 minutes from home. The guys are leaving. Chuck is walking
Chuck is
out.
our
Chuck
videographer. Chuck is literally disappearing into the shadows. He's so disgusted by this.
This is the only like
He's
when you hear
moonwalking
this story,
back.
you'll be like, it makes sense that those two got married and that those two will be together for hopefully ever, right?
Oh
man?
man, it's gonna be bad
So-
when we both just start taking dumps in
so-
our pants.
No, I didn't shit my pants. This is even better.
Oh, thank
I-
God.
No, I
Or
was
worse.
in a very cute dress. I wasn't about to do that, but I pulled behind.
It's weird.
A
Spaventa has
parking
an
lot.
erection for this. It's only when women are shitting does
You
Spaventa
know.
get hard.
He likes a hot Carl now and then. So I
Just a real steam wagon over there.
I got out of the car, and the goal was to pee in a parking lot behind trucks. So I get out of the car and I pull down my Spanx, which is just like sausage casing. You know what I mean? It's just you're squeezing out of it, like getting out
Guys,
of a
I get this
wetsuit.
woman every night.
And I start peeing. But because I'm sort of relaxing into the pee, and I'm a very good squat and peer, something came out on the other side and I shit in the parking lot, is what I'm saying. And the whole time I look up and there's a fucking surveillance camera.
Oh man.
So I have to
Somebody's
go in the
jerking
car.
off to that.
I have to Spaventa. He's like, where's
Yeah,
that footage?
Some duty.
So I go back to the car. I got wet ones that we always keep in the car, and I scooped it up and I kind of hid it in dirt behind a wall. So I like to think that it's biodegradable and that
That's
it
the
will
beginning
sort
of a horror movie. Is your poop coming back? You
With
buried
just-
it on an Indian burial ground.
with just like the wet one on it still, like all tattered. Like Toxic Avenger,
Hi,
how he's in the
Sarah.
tutu. It's like
me.
that.
Senior
Anyway,
shit.
took a big dump. What are you gonna do? It happens to everyone.
Wait
it
till you
doesn't.
get to a toilet. That's what you do.
6 minutes, guys. I couldn't make it. I was like, shit, and then I have to park, and then I have to run up, and then I have to do this. And then I thought, you know what, let me just pee, because if I get that out, they're not gonna poop. And I've never shit in public like that before. I have had diarrhea in a bathroom at Ben's Kosher Deli. My dad was having open heart surgery, and then we went in after. It was like spin art. Like I just shit my brains out in the bathroom. It was everywhere. And
You notice how Sarah has to turn
really-
everything into a one-woman show? She brought up her dad's heart surgery in the middle of it, like it
because I think
pertained
this is
to any of
important.
this.
My father woke up in recovery and looked at my mom and said, "Did I shit myself?" Because that's how I had it everywhere, and I thought I had cleaned it up, and it was like all over my pants, soiled inside. And my mom goes, "No, Sarah had a pastrami sandwich and shit herself in the car." So you know what, guys?
And that's the parent you get along with.
That's the parent I like.
So what do you think about the Boogeyman?
All right, calm down, Spaventa. We're getting to it. So Sadie listens to the recording. She ends up going to the Billings abandoned house, what she thinks is an abandoned house. But in time, she runs into Marin, Ireland. She's like, the Boogeyman. He was a comedian. He did shows at Ochi's Lounge. Some people could describe him as a poor man's Kyle Kinane. Dan Sagerman. Anyway, so she gets in there. She talks to him about the Boogeyman. She seems to see the Boogeyman behind Sadie, shoots at it. Sadie gets the fuck out of there.
Yep.
She notices that mold is now spreading through the house. So she's starting to be like, all right, this is crazy. She has like a nightmare. She, wants to fucking have a seance. She gets her mom. There's a weird thing where she has her mom like hit a lighter, her mom's spirit. So maybe the mom is like helping them fight the Boogeyman.
Right. This
but-
is how you could fight it. This is a weapon you could use.
Yeah, I mean, the whole time I wasn't scared. She was in the art studio, her mom's art studio, and her mom's art was so shitty. And I just keep thinking about how many people have to just support shitty art. You know, like you have to do it with my stand-up, but
No, you're actually a really good stand-up. I have in the past dated people who I didn't think were that funny that got up on stage. Not many. I dipped my toe in the comedy pool for like a second.
she was on Conan, guys.
No, I wasn't. I was not. I was in a sketch as like a child actor. I was 19. It was the prom where he drives his desk. I was a prom date and Conan ran over my prom date. I was 19.
I did. I remember this one guy I worked with, I won't say who, he was like, "Oh, I'm an artist." And I was like, "Oh, I'd love to see your art." And he showed me his pictures and they were all clowns. And I was like, "Oh,
There's a market for that though. Like I bet people would buy that.
if you're
shit.
John Wayne Gacy, yeah."
Sure. And
Okay,
then-
I'm going to put my cards on the table. I paint, and I got into painting clowns during the pandemic.
I want a piece of art. I will pay you for it.
Okay.
I mean, what do you
We're
charge?
not paying for a
Hold
clown.
on. Let me see what he charges. What's your rate?
I'll think about it.
Okay, well, up to and including $10. Spaventa,
Yeah,
that's what I'm
it's-
giving
we're not
you
cracking
for
$10
a
on
clown.
whatever this
A clown
fucking
photo.
murder clown that Spaventa made is.
I went to one of those sip and paint things once. It wasn't clowns, but it was a sailboat in a harbor. And I got so buzzed off of like cheap Pinot Grigio that
you
back in the
having cheap
day,
Pinot
I'm not a
Grigio?
drunk anymore. So I was it was like a ladies thing. And I painted it and it was, in the moment, I thought it was really beautiful. And then I sent a picture kind of jokingly to a thread of my girlfriends. And I was like, haha, I was drunk and painted this. Cause what I wanted was for them to be like, oh my God, that's so good. You did that. And they all just wrote like, ha, that's the ugliest fucking thing. Oh my God, you paid money for that. And so one of them, my friend Jenny, at her baby shower, I gave her a proper gift and then I gave her that painting.
It's hilarious.
Oh, good stuff. I'm not artistic.
I don't
I'm
know.
not
She
very
wants her
good at it.
mom. I mean, like, she wants her mom to save her from the Boogeyman, the spirit of her mom, but this bitch couldn't figure out driving. How is she? She got in a car accident.
This girl couldn't figure out how to get yogurt out of her mom's fucking frock.
Yeah, come on.
You know what I mean? Like, come on, idiot.
So then things really get crazy because at school, Bethany comforts Sadie, and then Sadie, they decide to have a girls' night at Sadie's house with all these girls who seem to hate Sadie, but they're friends with their old friends. So they get there, and as a prank, Bethany's friends lock Sadie in the art closet where she encounters the boogeyman.
Well, because that's where the guy hung himself to.
Yes, a fight breaks out amongst the girls who all leave Sadie's house. I mean, she just slaps one of them. That's why.
She slaps the
Or
bitchy
pushes
blonde
one.
one. Yeah. Always got to make the blonde the bitch.
And then while they're going out, like, and the kid is, and the younger sister is there, she gets attacked by the boogeyman. She gets thrown into a TV. I thought she was dead.
See, I did too.
But she got hospitalized. Mm-hmm. I thought they were going to kill her at this point. But at this point, Sadie knows the boogeyman is real. She's contacted by Rita, who says that she has come up with a way to kill the boogeyman. Sadie comes to the house. Rita has set up, it's basically Home Alone, where she sets up like all these, like this big booby trap for the boogeyman. A booby trap. A booby man. A booby man.
Boogeyman booby trap.
That's what they call me down in Fort Lauderdale, the booby man. Anyway, I don't know.
That's what they call your neighbors above us. They're like that short thing in the booby man.
The booby man. The booby man. See, he sets off the trap. Okay, well, Sadie is used as bait, so she gets handcuffed and uses bait. The boogeyman comes. They think they kill it. They don't. It ends up attacking. It attacks and kills Rita. This causes...
So Dan cheered when that happened.
Yeah.
And Marin, I'm just kidding. Marin Ireland is a fantastic actress.
Well, she is
lucky to have her in
actress.
anything. She's fantastic. Go on.
She's a good actress.
She's just scared of my husband, which kind of.
Anyway, so Will is taking Sawyer back from the hospital to the house. I keep wanting to call her Sophie, but it's Sadie.
Whatever.
Sadie is leaving the house to go back. Meanwhile, the boogeyman is at the house. He attacks the dad. I think that the whole reason this movie is a little better than average is because this scene is the best scene when she goes to the house thinking that she's going to help kill the boogeyman. She's used as bait. Like, there's some touches there that make this above a par, like, or right at par for a horror movie. They come into the basement. They find the creature's feeding off Will, but he's not really... His, like, leg is broken, which has nothing to do with the creature.
This movie is like... I have to keep reminding myself, oh, yeah, that did happen. Oh, that happened. Because it kind of just...
It's very forgettable.
Yes, it is. Much like the boogeyman.
Yeah, I think it's just, it's a generic villain, so generic movie. But they end up killing the boogeyman with the mother, with the
lighter.
The lighter, like, which I guess is supposed to mean the love of family or something like that. It's very close to the end of Ernest Scared Stupid.
Well, it's also, I never saw Ernest Scared Stupid. Is that something worth seeing?
No.
Okay.
But
well,
yeah,
we'll
it is. I mean, it is. I think we'll probably watch it for... That'd be a fun one to watch during Halloween.
I thought the reason why the boogeyman came and attacked these families is because the parents were not involved in the kids' lives. And that was the thing. I know it fed off of fear, but I think there was also a component that, like, Chris Messina was focused so much on his own pretending everything was okay after the mom that he didn't really pay attention to what was going on with the girls. He was sort of on the surface being involved in their lives. And I think that was also a reason why. That I kind of vaguely remember that.
Well, at the very end of the movie, the big, healing moment is that Chris Messina, the father, who's been closed off the whole time, is in therapy with the two girls. So he's processing the mother's death too.
Finally.
We have her leave. They all leave the office. She comes back because she forgets, something. And then we have that moment. Is the boogeyman back? No, it's just the therapist in the corner making a noise. And that's the end of the movie. It's a happy
No,
ending.
I think the boogeyman was there.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't at the end.
Well, because the boogeyman can also...
Did we watch the same movie?
I don't know. No, I vaguely remember something happening where the therapist, because the boogeyman can also take on the voice of another person, and that's how they sort of trap
but it looked like the therapist.
Well, no, but she said, she went back in. She's like, did you, because she said, oh, come back in a second. So she goes back in, and then the therapist comes out and goes, did you need something? And she's like, oh, I thought I heard you calling me. But it wasn't. It was the boogeyman.
Yeah, I just.
Oh, guys, listen.
No, I'm just. I think it's not the Boogeyman. It wasn't the Boogeyman.
Okay.
All right. Just watch. Somebody clarify this. People who are listening to this podcast, if you saw the Boogeyman, who's
Visit
right?
our Reddit page that we
Our Reddit page that we don't have. So, form a Reddit page to shit on us.
form a Reddit page to talk about how awful we are.
Yeah. But they do have. The one thing, my big takeaway from this, where I realized I don't think I've ever been impressed with a therapist's therapy in any movie. Like, even in The Sopranos, which is like one of my favorite shows of all time, she doesn't fucking help Tony at all. He's the same guy at the end of it. This girl's using light therapy. She's turning the lights off. She's putting a red light on it. It's like...
What is that called? That's a specific kind of therapy. It's like EMD or something. It's the tapping and it's noise and it's lights.
I've done brain spotting before.
What is that?
Where it's like you think of something traumatic, you look at a point on a wall, and then you look at another point, and then come back. It's actually very good.
I would love hypnosis. I would love to be hypnotized into like being different in ways when I come out of it. Quiet.
Quiet. I come out gay.
I mean,
gay and
you're
Korean.
already going in kind of gay, so which is a good thing, and I love that about my husband. He's experienced with both sexes.
She married a queer man.
I also want to point out this movie made a little money. It did okay.
It did good.
Yeah,
it
what did
made
it
its
make?
money back.
So it made $63.9 million on a $35 million budget.
And is that worldwide too?
Let me check.
I don't even know if it's gone world. Didn't it just come out?
Well, it just came out. Even though it was developed for a long time,
Wow.
it was in 20th Century Studio, which
Dan,
got
you and I
bought by
can
Disney.
just write a movie. Oh wait, Dan
I did, and
wrote
it didn't
a fucking
sell.
movie. It is gonna sell.
All right, if somebody wants to buy it, who's listening
Anybody
to
who's
this podcast,
listening that
even
has
if you were to-
$2.5 million, we would
honestly,
love to make this movie.
Forget what my wife just said. If you want to buy the script, I'll sell that for way cheaper than $2.5 million. And you just want to be an eccentric billionaire and read the script in your mansion, then that's fine too.
Have a stage reading. I'll cast it for free if you just give him money for his script. That's how desperate we are right now. Everything's shutting down.
The Boogeyman for us is just the IRS, guys.
The Boogeyman for us is,
Spaventa?
That number
Yeah.
I gave before, the $63.9 million, was the worldwide gross. It made a 41.7 in the U.S. and Canada.
Spaventa's
Still
having
good.
a panic attack
Still
over
good though. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening.
here. Why did you decide to end it now?
Because I'm hot as fuck. The
All right,
AC is
okay.
off. And you're warm, and Goldie, our dog, is laying in between us. She's
She
like a
is
hot
like-
water
Yeah, it's just like a
bottle.
little speaking of the sausage casing.
I know. She
Says my
knows.
wife says shit-filled Spanx.
There was no shit or pee in the Spanx.
Okay.
I took them down and shit and pissed on the
Well,
parking
either
lot.
way, I think we should burn them. So I say this, and I've
I
shat
think
my
they're
pants.
the ones I wore to our wedding too.
Oh. Well, you
I'll
know,
keep them for memento.
I don't know if you're supposed to. We didn't hook up our wedding night, so
No, I farted when you carried me.
you didn't just
I had
fart.
never farted
You
in front of Dan
squatted.
loudly. Stop making it sound like I'm
You
a
s-
goblin that
You
gets on your
did.
your
You
dad's-
squatted like a goblin, and then I looked down, and it was my dad's boner. All right, let's end that. Let's end it on here. Check out my dates on danstgermain.net. I'm still doing stand-up from this
Hire
crazy
me
world.
to cast your project. Thanks.
I'm working on other stuff with Dan Soder, friend of the show, and some other things.
Alana, you're going on tour with Alana.
Well, by that point,
Oh,
that'll
right.
be done by
Just
the time
kidding.
this came
He
out.
went on tour
Thank
with her. It was
you.
amazing.
It
I have a film coming out that I produced and cast.
was in Cannes, everybody.
It was in Cannes, and it is going to
Cannes
be
with one N, though. It was in Newark, New Jersey.
It was just thrown in the can, the trash can. And Love Reconsidered, very cute little rom-com.
Check it out. And follow
Check
me
it
on follow me on Instagram. Follow our show and all the
And
socials.
hire us.
All right. Whatever's just coming across.
We
this
want a second
Gil
home.
from The Simpsons. And
today.
I would say the guy who directed this, Rob Savage, if you want to see a great horror movie, which we should do on this podcast. It's only an hour. It's called Host. And it was I saw it on Shudder, I think, but it was made for like fucking $15. But
Yes, $100,000
it's a way better
budget.
movie than this.
It's great.
So
it takes place over COVID too, and it was shot over COVID, so everyone's on Zoom.
Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.